A storm rolled in over the Aegean Sea, thunder cracking like the voice of the gods themselves. In the depths below, something ancient stirs, not bones or wreckage, but a legend. A city so magnificent, it rivaled the splendor of Olympus. Its streets paved with orichalcum, its palaces glittering under golden domes. Its navy vast enough to dominate continents. Atlantis, a civilization said to be blessed by the gods, and then punished by them, swallowed by the sea in a single day and night. But did it ever truly exist? For over 2,000 years, Atlantis has haunted the human imagination. Writers, explorers, scientists, mystics, they've all chased it. Some claimed to find traces buried beneath desert sands or frozen under Antarctic ice. Our only known source for Atlantis comes from one man, Plato. Around 360 BCE, in two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato tells us a tale he claims was passed down from Solon, the wise Athenian statesman, who in turn heard it from Egyptian priests. According to Plato, Atlantis existed 9,000 years before his time, meaning around 11,000 years ago. It lay beyond the Pillars of Heracles, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. A powerful, technologically advanced civilization, Atlantis expanded its empire across Europe and Africa before trying to conquer ancient Athens. But the Athenians, noble and virtuous, resisted. The gods, angered by the Atlanteans' arrogance, unleashed earthquakes and floods, and the entire island sank beneath the ocean. A thrilling story, but let's take a step back. Plato was a philosopher. He wrote with allegory and symbolism. So, was Atlantis a real city, or merely a vehicle to teach his ideas about virtue, hubris, and the ideal state? Many scholars lean toward fiction, but then again, history is full of once dismissed myths that turned out to have kernels of truth. The ruins of Troy were once thought to be pure legend until Heinrich Schliemann dug them up in the 19th century. Could Atlantis follow the same path? For centuries, Atlantis faded from memory until the Renaissance. With the rediscovery of classical texts, explorers and thinkers reawakened to the legend. The age of discovery fueled imaginations. What if Atlantis lay in the New World? Francis Bacon, in The New Atlantis, envisioned a utopia of science and reason. The myth morphed, sometimes into prophecy, sometimes into political fantasy. In the late 1800s, Ignatius Donnelly, a former US congressman, wrote Atlantis, the antediluvian world. He argued that Atlantis was the mother of all civilizations, Egyptian, Mayan, even Norse. His theories, though largely discredited, sparked a frenzy of speculation. Atlantis wasn't just a lost city, it was the lost origin of human knowledge. Let's talk locations. If Atlantis existed, where could it have been? Theories abound. Some point to the island of Santorini, once home to the Minoan civilization. Around 1600 BCE, a massive volcanic eruption tore through the island of Thera. The Minoans, who had palaces, writing, plumbing, and trade networks, collapsed shortly afterward. Could this have been the inspiration? There's compelling evidence. The Minoans were indeed advanced. Their frescoes depict dolphins and lush gardens. Their society was relatively peaceful, wealthy, and organized. And the volcanic destruction matches Plato's description, though the timeline doesn't. Others argue that Atlantis could have been in Spain. Near the Doñana wetlands in Andalusia, archaeologists have discovered circular structures resembling Plato's descriptions. The area was once hit by floods and tsunamis. Some claim this was the true Atlantis, destroyed not by gods, but by geological catastrophe. And then there are wilder claims. Some place Atlantis under Antarctica, buried beneath ice. Others suggest it was in the Caribbean, pointing to the submerged Bimini Road near the Bahamas, a strange rectangular rock formation that some believe is man-made. Most geologists disagree, but mystery loves ambiguity. What about Antarctica? Charles Hapgood, a professor and early proponent of pole shift theory, suggested that a crustal displacement event moved Atlantis, Antarctica, out of the temperate zone into the polar region. He even had supporters, including Albert Einstein. But again, hard evidence is lacking. Still, some archaeologists continue the search. Sonar scans of the ocean floor have revealed massive underwater structures that defy explanation. One of the most tantalizing was discovered near Cuba. Rectangular shapes, aligned patterns, lying 2,000 feet beneath the surface. But access is difficult, and research has stalled. We're left with questions, shadows, and hope. Even NASA has gotten involved, sort of. In 2011, satellite images revealed a strange grid-like pattern off the coast of Africa, prompting media headlines, "Atlantis found?" Google quickly debunked the idea, explaining the lines were sonar mapping artifacts. But it shows how hungry we are for answers. Perhaps the real mystery isn't whether Atlantis existed, but why we want it to. Atlantis represents more than a sunken city. It's a mirror, a reflection of our hopes, fears, and dreams. A civilization at the height of power, destroyed by its own arrogance, an eternal warning. It fascinates us because it feels possible. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, humanity has risen and fallen before. What if our ancestors did build something grand, and we've simply forgotten? What if history isn't a straight line, but a cycle? The truth is, we may never know. Atlantis sits at the crossroads of myth and memory, science and speculation. But that's what keeps it alive. Whether it lies beneath the sea, buried in sand, or only in the pages of a philosopher's mind, Atlantis will always call to us. Not because we're searching for a city, but because we're searching for ourselves. And maybe, just maybe, some truths are meant to be rediscovered.